Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to continue our topic on soul exhaustion and your natal Pluto energies. This is a big theme for many of us in the past 10 years especially, and it's something that we are learning to master. We're learning how to work with the very deep soul growth that's been required of us in this lifetime, trying to understand what's it about, what's going on here, why are there so many layers? And that is one of the themes, especially with the intensity of energies in the past 10 years. Where when you think you're done with a specific topic or area, there seems to be more. And what my guides have shown me and are showing me right now is that this is one of the amazing gifts of this span of time on the planet, is that we are actually accelerating through many of these layers in our soul's energies. There's the unfinished stories. There's the healing potentials. There's the parts of ourselves that are really ready to grow. And it feels like it's a new growth. It's growing in a new direction. But first, we have to take care of the weeds. We have to take care of what's under the surface. And basically what they're showing me is that we are really creating this beautiful, pristine energy within ourselves that is supporting our ongoing growth and helping us to connect with the higher intentions of this lifetime. And this is very much connected to the energies of higher consciousness, being an awakened, energetically aware individual, and that is our new way of life. That's the new mode of living, where we are now being gifted with opportunities to use all of our energies, not simply the mind or the body, but to trust everything that we're connected with, that we're connected and integrated with, and that this is part of how we are able to navigate through this lifetime and to create some really beautiful manifestations and dreams for ourselves because the energy is clearer. So we have been dismantling, unraveling, removing, reprogramming a lot, and it's been exhausting. It's been ongoing. It could feel like endless knocks, endless setbacks, all these new issues or something else comes up, or it could feel like you're just so worn out that you don't know how much more you can take or how much further you can go. And what they're showing me is that this is where we then have the gifts of practicing what the energy requirements are. So one of the ways to work with this theme of soul exhaustion is to be aware of what tools you have that support you when you need it most. Now, clearly, when you're really tired and worn out, it is necessary to rest. It's necessary to sleep and have downtime and give yourself that break. Understand how you move energy. Understand how energy runs through you because it is different for each of us. And perhaps you can look back and understand what has supported you through some of the bigger energies in your life, what have been wonderful habits to develop and grow. Perhaps there's some things that you just turn to, whether that would be body work or something that moves energy through the body, such as yoga, running, exercise, anything that, again, makes sure that the energy isn't stuck in the body. But what they're showing me more specifically is the use of visualizing energy that you are ready to receive coming down, like showering down upon you. The energy, maybe it works with you through all 7 chakras. Maybe it's working with your aura. Maybe it's a meditation that you practice or a guided meditation that you move through. These are very simple ways to take care of our energy. And chances are you've been doing it for years even. And this isn't new. But what they're telling me, like this information that's coming through, is that you have tools, you have understandings, you have wisdom, and this is part of our mastery at this time, because now the planet is undergoing a lot that's going to continue over the next number of years, and it's going to be even more essential to practice your own energy habits and to put them into place. One that can work really well is simply when you're laying down before you go to sleep and envisioning yourself in a beautiful high vibrating cocoon of light or an auric color, anything that calls to you, and have it be restorative, to set your intention for it to be exactly what your body needs, what your energy needs, and to understand that these are very simple ways that we take care of ourselves as we undergo these very big energetic turnovers. Now, part of the intention of this lifetime is to have these energetic turnovers, where at a level of your being, within your soul's imprint, you knew this would be a big time in your life. This would be important. There would be big things coming up for you to look at, to work on, to understand. That there would be big changes in perhaps your life, your personal world, your professional world. And I know that for many people, there's been a lot of turnover there. There's been a lot of redirection, a lot of really getting clear on what you need and what matters to you. And this is what's interesting as well, is that there could be opportunities opening up for you that were not available to you previously, meaning those doors were closed in the previous decade. But here in this decade, there are doors opening that are new opportunities for your soul's gifts, for your passions, for what you really love to do, what you really want to do, regardless of your education, your professional experience, regardless of what you've done for a number of years. This is where it's exciting, because now the planet is needing more healers, more individuals who can support people, especially at a one-to-one level, at a human level. We need the human touch. We need human connection. We need human support. And this is a time when you could be drawn to some new practices, some new modalities that are very good for your energy. And maybe it's not a new career path. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's just something you're learning about in your free time. But this is also important because it seems like later on down the road, and they're showing me later on in the decade, is when we're going to need more of these skills that are really about supporting our own humanity, supporting the tenderness of our energies, supporting what is essential and what is needed to maintain a higher vibration. So something you can do is to look at, well, what does my body need? What does my energy need? What is calling to me as something to understand, even if it's completely out of the blue and it's something you never even considered or had any interest in previously. What they're showing me is that part of what's opening up for so many people right now is that you're expanding your auric energy. It's like it's coming more alive. There's parts of you that are starting to rise up to the surface. It's an energy that's like pulsing. It's a little bit sparkly. It has a new effervescence to it. And it's part of this clearer essence and purity of your own soul's signature. And so part of our exhaustion and part of why we are so damn worn out at times is because all the removing, peeling away, release, shadow work, healing work, body work, etc., it's revealing more of this pure essence of who you are. We've had to work for it and we couldn't go around it. It's like you have to go through it. And that supports you in understanding what you're made of, where when you look back, you can see how incredibly strong you were, how you did trust even when you didn't think you could. A bigger sense of faith has emerged. And even more has shown up when you look back on what you've been through, what has changed, what has shifted. You can give yourself reassuring messages and understandings around your own power, your own capabilities, your own light, your own ability to figure out life as it has shown up for you, and how it has ultimately tapped you into more of this power that you always travel with. Now, this is essential in the Pluto transformational process, where we meet our fears and our unconscious. We meet the things we didn't notice or see in ourselves. And if transiting Pluto and natal Pluto in your astrology chart work with your personal planets. Personal planets are Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. If there have been interactions between your personal planets and Pluto, they are in communication that is intense. And so if it's in your natal chart, this is where Pluto is always pulsing an energy towards that personal planet, and it gives it a surge of energy, a depth. There can be an obsessive energy here, a compulsive energy. There can be this overwhelming urge that you have to do something. It can feel very passionate, very driven, very deep. And so what that means is that this is a lifetime where you knew how much natal Pluto, as well as transiting Pluto, would be talking to your energies and helping them get to the root of a fear so that you can rise up into that broader understanding of your energy and your power. But again, it's difficult, it's trying, it can be very devastating. It can do a lot to our sense of self. It can certainly feel very harsh to our egos. And yet Pluto requires us to drop the ego, drop the act, drop the facade. We're going into what's real here. And so we've been able to see even more of our energies and what we have accumulated through multiple lifetimes. This is where some of the soul stories emerge, where you tap into the energies of past lives, which of course can be current lives, since time is all happening now. We can get more understanding through the Akashic records, through various ways of seeing the stories that we've been a part of, the stories that reside in our DNA and in our deeper levels of consciousness. So what we have here is actually a really exciting opportunity to see the vastness of your energy and your experiences, and how now you can make higher choices and new choices. So after Pluto has done its work on you, so to speak, and has transformed a part of you permanently, a part of your life, has required you to get to the heart and the truth of something, there is that no going back. There's the permanent changes. This is the permanent endings, the permanent removals where life shifts you onto a new trajectory. Well, what that does open up are new ways for you to experience your energy in this lifetime on this planet. And what I'm seeing energetically is that this is how so many are already contributing to the new earth energies. And my understanding of new earth energies is that it's a consciousness, it's alive, it already is inhabited and occupied. There are already people who are living, connecting, and really experiencing that level of consciousness in their lives. And how I would describe it is that this new earth, it's like a pulsing energy, is connecting you back to your own soul's truth of what it means to live a well-intentioned, happy human life, where there's a blending of energies from higher realms that now we're able to connect to, that now you can energetically connect to. The vibrations are matching up. The frequencies are coming together and matching up. Again, that's why I'm feeling this pulsing. And it's sort of like a music symphony or something where the energies are working together. They're creating this new energetic playing field that more and more people are starting to consciously arrive at. And so it's interesting because I feel like the new earth energies are different for each person. It's different based on what that means to you, what that feels like, what that energy is. And yet the overarching terrain of the land that I'm seeing is that not only is the energy a higher vibration, higher frequency, and clearer, it has that crystalline energy. It has these different shades of light. It looks very pure, very clear, and it's been required of us to get to that place as well. And the more work we've done, the more work we've moved through and have become more conscious of, the more we have removed the heaviness or the burdens of the 3D. And I feel like what this new earth consciousness is about, again, it's personal to each person, but then it's universal in what the energies are. And so it's sort of like, well, you can move in to a new territory and create the life that's best for you here, where there is an honoring of your truth. There's an honoring of your gifts, of your energy, of what you need. There is a harnessing of the false ego and of the shadow elements of ourselves that we still travel with, that still shows up. But the difference now is that after you've done so much healing work and you're really more aware of your own patterns, your own triggers, your own ego, you start to move through the experiences faster. It's like you recognize this part of yourself, and maybe you have the tools now for handling it, or a process that you move through, or you're just more aware of your own energy. And that creates this interesting experience where now you're very much in charge of all of your energy. You're aware of yourself, what you're dealing with, what you've got to still work through at times. But because the energy is now conscious, it's more contained. So you're less likely, and I'm speaking now in broader human history, you're less likely to start a war over something. You're less likely to go to battle. You're less likely to do harm. And not only harm to yourself, but harm to others. And so there's less betrayal, less rejection, less trauma is created, less of these lower unconscious energies that we've been through, that we've lived through. They're no longer as strong and they're not as present, where maybe they come through or show up a little bit, but they are not a part of this terrain, because what we've basically moved through is creating a new sense of safety in ourselves, a new wisdom around our energy, a new understanding of your power and your shadow self, how to be very honest with yourself as well around these energies as you experience them, and how to basically not project them, to not move them outside. This is also where I feel like this new earth energy, it doesn't have karma. There's no karma, meaning it's new and it's fresh. It's a blank canvas. What are you going to create here? What do you want to experience now that you're more evolved, now that you've moved through enough intensity in your life that you've perhaps unpacked what you no longer want? And it's interesting because I'm getting the visual of basically being in that raft, being in a raft, and you've just thrown so many things overboard, where that can be done in a very loving way. It's an offering, right? I offer this to the ocean. I offer this to be transmuted to spirit. I no longer need to carry this. This is no longer a part of who I am. So there's been the lessening of those heavier parts of ourselves. And this new earth energy, it feels like we've reconnected with some dreams, some parts of ourselves that we have forgotten or didn't think we had time for. I'm seeing the energy is also very alive for the inner child, where now that you're conscious of your own inner child and some of those wounds or what you've been moving through, there is this space for the inner child to play and be seen and have fun and be loved. I'm also seeing that in the new earth energies, the soul groups are very different. They're totally different soul groups. There's been a huge reshuffling, and you've probably felt this and experienced this, and it usually shows up most strongly in our families, in our family dynamics, because oftentimes for many who said, I'm going to move through this path in this lifetime, you chose certain family members or people in your immediate vicinity to be your triggers and your catalysts for your soul growth, to help you choose and understand boundaries, to help you respect yourself, to help you understand how to communicate your needs and to speak your truth. There have probably been numerous instances in your life where you've learned a lot through family dynamics, even at work. I mean, any area of your life, certainly friendships and colleagues, siblings. These are the people that have been triggers and have been those catalysts for your growth and have also helped remind you of what is best for you in terms of handling these dynamics where you maybe do have to cut someone out of your life, and that's for the best and highest good of both. Maybe there are individuals, especially friendships, that they can only travel so far with you. There's only so much energy that connects you, and then it just falls away. You don't have anything in common. You have different interests. You're moving in totally different realities, and they just don't mesh. So part of what I'm seeing here is that these are energies that are very clear, which have required us to be very clear. And so after the Pluto intensity, the Pluto storms, where there's all kinds of dirt and dust and everything flying around, when it all clears out, there can be a new understanding of what it's about for you, what it means for you. And this is where Pluto can be your new best friend. This is where Pluto, you can see, was working for you, working with you, even if he showed up as a cloaked evil energy or something. It's like, I know Pluto gets a bad rap, but Pluto is so essential to our soul growth and our transformation process that we start to see it all differently in hindsight. Again, after the storm has passed, after some things have settled, that's when we can see things with new eyes and a fresh perspective. Now, with transiting Pluto, working with any of your personal planets, typically that transiting Pluto needs to move at least 1 degree away. And then it will feel like the energy is done. It will feel like you're being released. So that means if you have had any energies at 23 degrees of the cardinal signs, so 23 degrees of Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, once Pluto is done at the 24 degree point and moves along, then you really start to feel the loosening up. It's like when Pluto is still within a 1 degree orb, he's still right there. He's like shoulder to shoulder, like just standing there, checking in, making sure that the transformation has occurred. And then as Pluto moves further away, 2 degrees and such, then it starts to loosen up and you can feel it. You can feel that the intensity has passed and that there is no longer that energetic presence right there next to you. So with the intense energies that have perhaps seemed nonstop, it's important to recognize yourself. Look at what you've been through. Really own how far you've come, all the work you've done at a very personal, deep level. And again, this can be the kind of thing that people don't know about. You haven't shared it with the world. Not everyone in your life even knows what you've been moving through or where you've been working to become more conscious. In fact, maybe you don't talk to anyone about it. But it's important to remember that the universe knows. Spirit knows. Spirit sees you. Your higher self knows. Your soul knows that the support is there, and that this is where it can feel like you're not alone, that you are doing this for a reason. And if you're not sure of the reason, ask. Ask before you go to bed. Ask in meditation. Just ask and see how an answer comes back to you or shows up in a way that you just trust it and you say, yes, this is what it's been about. Sometimes these answers can come through music, through movies, through television shows. There could be a conversation that you're overhearing or something that you're witnessing that has exactly the message you need. This is part of the magic. This is part of why it's so fascinating to ask questions and see how the answer arrives, because it can be very surprising and it can take you into some very interesting places where you know the energy resonates. It's exactly the information you were looking for. You could even have visuals of other lifetimes. You could start to see yourself in other cities, other cultures. You could see yourself living a life in another country. It's like you could start to see and connect at an energetic level in ways that the mind doesn't always get. You know, our minds can be trying to figure it out. How's that possible? That doesn't seem logical, etc. But what we're opening up to are all the ways energy speaks to us, all the ways energy comes in and is supporting you. And that's one thing that's really important here, is that when you have that feeling of soul exhaustion, look at all the energies that support you, all the energies that love you, all the energies that are helping you and showing up for you and reminding you that that is powerful. And it is a demonstration of what you're changing, what you're moving through, and what you're experiencing right now. It's very important to stay open to the new parts of yourself that are emerging, and to know that it's also okay to feel scared or uncertain at times about the new. Because when we're moving towards something, we're manifesting it, we're really focused, we have a strong desire for whatever it might be, there's this period between when we set the intention and when it actually manifests that can show us some of our weak spots, where we're a little bit weak, where we're not fully trusting, we're not fully believing. It's like we all have the dips. We all have the low points where you question it, you doubt it, this could never happen. But in these new energies, you can most likely rise back up to a higher point of trust, hope, faith, and belief, because now you know how powerful those energies are, and you can rise back up and be in this place of excitement, of trusting divine timing, of being aware that something can happen quickly and out of the blue, and wow, what an amazing ride we're on. You know, you can really stay open. And in fact, one thing that I recommend, and I do this myself, is to energetically open up your space, your aura, like energetically open up the space for what you're ready to receive next, what you're wanting to experience next. Like, make sure you have that space in yourself, in your energy field, in your life for the new to arrive. And that's vital, because if you're already at capacity, if you're already a full house, well, where's it going to go? Or is there even room? Maybe that is preventing something from coming in. Maybe it wasn't able to land in your energy or land in your aura because you're already full. So open up the space, open up the energy so that you're ready. And again, you can do this with the chakras. You can do it with, you open up your heart or open up the solar plexus, open up all of them to the highest possible manifestation of what you're intending. And that's one way that we can operate with these energies and also allow the new to come forward and the new to show up. Because that's often a big theme, is that after being very tired and worn out and just thinking, I can't do one more thing, what you can always do is manage your energy and ensure that you're open to life, new energy, new potentials. And this is where it's very exciting and it's wonderful that we have the capacity to do this right now. So always trust your own energy. If you're wiped out and exhausted and can't fathom doing that right now, honor that. Honor where you're at. Honor what you need. But then when you're ready, allow yourself to open and have space for that new to show up in divine timing, in the most perfect way for you, and with a real understanding that you're worth it. You are worth it. And that is one of the themes of this lifetime. It's also one of the themes of these new earth energies. You're worth it. You are worthy of your dreams. You are worthy of having the job or career that you love, that you're passionate about, that you are excited about every day. You are worthy of having that partnership or that relationship that is heart-based, that is open, that is conscious, that's awake, that has both individuals at the same energy points. It's like anything that you want, you are worthy of it. And this is something that the universe reminds us of and wants us to remember. So part of what I'm seeing here with these energies is that we've had to remove a lot. We've had to experience very painful things, but the energy is replenishing. It comes back in a new form. It matches your new vibration and your new frequency, and it shows you more of what you can experience in this lifetime that's most likely very new for you at a human level and perhaps even at a soul level. So there are always rewards. There are always energetic manifestations based on our intentions. Yes, it takes time for these things to show up. And yes, it does require ongoing trust. But remember that you're safe and that you're safe in your own energy. You now have more tools and more ways to work with energy than ever before. And this is part of the joy of this lifetime, where we see our abilities, we see our power, and we are being gifted with opportunities to apply what we know and to continually practice these energies. So I hope this has provided encouraging messages and insights into what you may be experiencing, as well as how to move the energy forward, how to move it forward when the time is right, when you're ready, when you have energy for it, and to keep going. We have the strength to keep going. We have the partnership with the universe and spirit. We have the ability to work with our energies more powerfully than ever before. And we are supported beyond measure. And that's because spirit needs us and is ready for us to be in more of these new earth consciousness energies. And it's how we not only continue our own soul growth, but how we benefit the planet and help humanity continue to grow and awaken. So all is well. All is in perfect order. And honestly, the universe is made of chaos. And so that's part of what we experience is the chaos of energies and the chaos of our lives. But that's what we're beautifully equipped to handle and navigate. And it's also where we discover more of our own mastery. So I hope this has been beneficial. Thank you so much for joining me for today's podcast. If you wanted to listen to part 1, that was on July 12th. If you want to go back and look in your feed for that date, I will be back every Wednesday and Monday for another podcast episode. And as always, I thank you for your time, energy, and presence. For those of you who have asked, you can sign up for my free online portal called the Galactic Center, where I have a variety of channeled messages there, and you are welcome to listen to them for free. It's free. And I hope that those resonate and support you with your own journey and what you're discovering about yourself in this lifetime. You can find out more about me over at mollymccord.online. I am the author of 10 books as well, and some of those are channeled messages, so check those out if that also resonates with you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you back here very soon.